Those who belong to the kingdom of God will not be spared from the results of God's worldwide wrathful destruction. God's worshipers will have a measure of collateral damage as they, and now we, will be caught up in it. So in the end times, believers are not immune to the consequences of the coming universal tribulation. Now, happily, it is that way only up to the point that God takes control of human events at the beginning of his wrath. Now, I made the point that tribulation and wrath are two different things, even though the church makes no distinction. The evangelical branches especially make the lack of differentiation as a kind of a core doctrine. To briefly review, when the New Testament speaks of tribulation, it is a common noun. That is, it is speaking of severe hardship in general. The church, however, has added the definite article, the, before the word tribulation, to turn it into a proper noun. That is, it creates a formal name for a particular named event. Now, in the Greek manuscripts, all New Testaments are drawn from, interpreters have added in the word ton in Greek, which is equivalent to the English the. I'll say it again. That word ton is not there in the ancient Greek manuscripts. Doctrinal-minded Christian interpreters added it much later, thus corrupting the truth. It was the church that invented the concept of an event in the last days called the tribulation, to be followed by another event called the Great Tribulation. Biblically, this does not exist. Further, the church describes both of these tribulation events as part of God's wrath. Again, untrue. Tribulation is the result of humankind's nature. It's the consequence of actions of evil people upon other people. So, for instance, what Hitler did in World War II was tribulation. It wasn't God's wrath. God's wrath, on the other hand, is God-directed. Sometimes wrath can be God causing a nation to use their evil instincts to oppress another nation, or at a higher level, it could be by means of a God-commanded supernatural or cosmic happenings that are otherworldly, as in what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. Thus, in the end times, there will be a progression of troubles, from ever-increasing tribulations of man's inhumanity and evil, and then God urging nations and their leaders to do destructive things to other nations for his purposes, and then finally devastations upon nations of a cosmic nature. This progression is what we're reading about so far in Zephaniah.